Imagine this. You were always there for her, texting back immediately, adjusting your schedule to fit hers, showing up no matter how little she acknowledged your efforts. You thought your loyalty would make her see your worth. But instead, she treated you like an afterthought, keeping you around when it was convenient, but never truly valuing you. At first, you accepted it, hoping things would change. But then, something clicked. You pulled away, focused on yourself, and for the first time she felt your absence. The security she once had, knowing you'd always be there, was gone. And now, the same man she ignored is the one she realizes she needed all along. Too many men find themselves trapped in this cycle. They invest in women who see them as a backup plan, not a priority. These women take their presence for granted, assuming they'll always be available. But when a man finally walks away, when he stops chasing and starts building his own life, everything changes. That's when she starts wondering, why isn't he chasing me anymore? Why does he seem happier without me? This is when she truly feels the pain of losing a man who was genuine, loyal, and valuable. The Stoics taught that a man should never tie his self-worth to external validation, especially from someone who doesn't reciprocate his efforts. Epictetus once said, "Freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control." In other words, you cannot control how someone treats you, but you can control how you respond. And the strongest response? Walking away. Let me tell you a real story about a man named Marcus. He was deeply in love with his girlfriend Sophia, always there for her, always supporting her. But Sophia, she took him for granted. She cancelled dates, ignored his texts, and flirted with other guys in front of him. Marcus kept hoping she'd change. Then one day, he realized he was pouring his energy into someone who didn't deserve it. Instead of arguing or begging for her attention, he simply stopped. He focused on himself, his fitness, his career, and his personal growth. He stopped checking his phone, stopped waiting for her to treat him right. At first, Sophia didn't care. But as time passed, she saw the change. Marcus was glowing, confident, happy, and attracting attention from other women. That's when the tables turned. She tried to get back into his life, but it was too late. He had moved on. And that's the hard truth. A woman only realizes what she lost when you detach and focus on yourself. The moment you stop making her the center of your world is the moment she starts feeling the void. And that pain, that's the consequence of her own choices. Now let's break this down step by step. Why she treated you like an option, why she feels the pain now, and how you can use this situation to build a stronger, more fulfilling life for yourself. Why she treated you like an option. If you've ever found yourself in a situation where a woman barely responds to your texts, ignores your efforts, and only reaches out when it suits her, you've been treated like an option. But why does this happen? The answer isn't always that she's a bad person. It's about human psychology and the dynamics of attraction. Women are naturally drawn to men of high value, men who have options themselves. The moment she senses that you're putting her on a pedestal, she subconsciously starts to take you for granted. When you constantly prioritize her, cancel your plans for her, and tolerate disrespect, you send the message that your time and presence are not valuable. And when something appears easily accessible, it's rarely appreciated. This is where a crucial lesson from Stoic philosophy applies. Never make another person the center of your world unless they've earned that position. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic emperors, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." If she doesn't see your worth, it's not your job to prove it to her. It's your job to recognize your own value and walk away. The nice guy trap. Many men mistakenly believe that being overly nice, always available, and constantly proving their affection will make a woman love them. But the harsh truth? This often backfires. Women respect men who are kind, but they are not attracted to men who are needy. Take the story of Daniel, for example. Daniel was dating a woman named Lisa, and he was the classic nice guy. He sent her good morning texts every day, always asked about her feelings, and put her needs ahead of his own. Meanwhile, Lisa rarely made an effort. She cancelled plans at the last minute, took hours to reply, and always seemed to have time for other guys, but never for Daniel. One evening, Daniel planned a romantic date. Lisa agreed, but later texted, "Hey, sorry, I just don't feel like going out tonight. Maybe another time?" Hours later, Daniel saw pictures of her out partying with her friends. At that moment, Daniel had two choices: keep tolerating her behavior or walk away. He chose the second option, and everything changed. How to stop being an option? The first step to changing this dynamic is recognizing your worth. A woman who truly values you will prioritize you just as much as you prioritize her. This doesn't mean she'll always be available or never cancel plans. It means she'll show effort, respect your time, and make space for you in her life. This is why you must develop an abundance mindset, something the Stoics understood well. Seneca, another great Stoic thinker, once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. Too many men waste their time chasing women who are indifferent toward them instead of focusing on their own personal growth." The solution? Shift your focus inward. When you stop chasing and start investing in yourself, your purpose, your fitness, your ambitions, everything changes. The same woman who once ignored you will start noticing your absence. She'll wonder why you're no longer so available, why you seem more confident, why other women are now interested in you. But by the time she realizes this, it might be too late. The psychological shift when you walk away. When you finally stop chasing a woman who undervalued you and start focusing on your own growth, everything changes. At first, she won't even notice. She assumes you'll always be there, waiting for her texts, answering her calls, and making yourself available whenever she decides she needs attention. She's comfortable knowing that you're an option, not a priority. But as the days turn into weeks and the weeks into months, something begins to feel different for her. She doesn't realize it immediately, but a subtle discomfort starts creeping in. She checks her phone, expecting a message from you. Nothing. She scrolls through her old conversations and notices that for the first time in a long time, there are no new texts from you. That's when she starts to feel the shift. Why absence creates value. There's a well-documented psychological principle called reactance theory, which explains why people hate losing their sense of control. The moment a woman realizes that you no longer seek her approval, she begins to feel a loss of power. This isn't about manipulation, it's about human nature. Let's go back to Daniel's story. Daniel was a classic example of a man who gave too much, too soon. He was dating Lisa, a woman he truly cared for. He sent her good morning texts every day, showered her with compliments, always made time for her, and never asked for much in return. Lisa, on the other hand, took her time responding. She often left him on red, cancelled plans last minute, and always seemed to have time for other guys, but not for him. One night, Daniel planned a special dinner. Lisa agreed, but later texted, "Hey, sorry, I just don't feel like going out tonight. Maybe another time?" Hours later, Daniel saw pictures of her out with friends at a party. At that moment, Daniel had a choice: continue accepting her indifference or walk away. He chose to walk away. Instead of begging for her attention, Daniel disappeared. He stopped initiating contact. He redirected his energy toward himself, his fitness, his career, his personal goals. He started going out with friends, meeting new people, and living his life without waiting for Lisa's validation. At first, Lisa didn't care. She assumed Daniel would still be there whenever she decided to reach out. But after a few weeks, she noticed something was different. She checked her phone and realized that there were no more texts from Daniel. No "Good morning, beautiful." No "How was your day?" She scrolled through their old conversations and saw how one-sided they had been. That's when the discomfort began. Lisa started wondering, why hasn't he texted me? Is he seeing someone else? Did he stop liking me? Suddenly, the man she once ignored became a mystery. And that mystery triggered something unexpected: desire. Why she feels the pain. Now women don't regret losing men who beg for their attention. They regret losing men who become better without them. When a man stops chasing and shifts his focus inward, his energy changes. He no longer radiates neediness. Instead, he carries himself with confidence, purpose, and direction. That's when the pain sets in. Lisa started noticing things she never paid attention to before. She saw Daniel's Instagram stories. He was at a networking event, dressed sharply, surrounded by new people. She saw another woman in his photo, smiling next to him. And that's when jealousy kicked in. She had assumed Daniel would always be an option. Now, she realized she had lost him, and regret started to creep in. This happens because of a simple truth. People don't value what is easily available. A man who removes himself from a woman's life and thrives without her forces her to reevaluate everything. But this isn't about games. It's not about trying to make her jealous. It's about recognizing your own worth. When you understand your value, you don't need to beg for someone's attention. You simply walk away from situations that don't serve you. And when you embrace this mindset, the right woman will never treat you as an option. What happens when she tries to come back? It always happens when you least expect it. After weeks, maybe even months of silence, your phone lights up with a message. "Hey, stranger." At first, you stare at the screen almost in disbelief. The same woman who once ignored your texts, who made excuses, who kept you as a backup plan, is now reaching out like nothing ever happened. But why? Why do women come back after they've disregarded you? The answer is simple. Loss creates value. People take things for granted until they're gone. When you were always available, she assumed you always would be. But when you walked away and started thriving without her, something shifted in her mind. At first, she told herself she didn't care. Maybe she even thought she could do better. But as time passed, no other man treated her the way you did. No one else was as patient, as kind, or as present as you were. And now, she feels it. Why you need to think twice. Before you even consider responding, ask yourself, does she miss you, or does she miss the attention and validation you used to give her? Is she reaching out because she regrets losing you, or because she's bored and wants to test if she still has control over you? There's a big difference between a woman who genuinely regrets losing you and a woman who just wants to keep you as an option again. Some women don't actually want you back. They just want to know they could have you back. And this is where a strong man stands firm. A man who has truly grown will never let himself be reduced to an option again. So before you respond, ask yourself, are you willing to go back to being an afterthought? Or are you ready to continue becoming the best version of yourself with or without her? The wisdom of walking away for good. The ancient Stoics had a saying, "You cannot step into the same river twice." Well, this means that even if you return to a past relationship, things will never be the same. You have changed, you have grown, and most importantly, you've seen the truth. She didn't appreciate you when she had you. Many men, after walking away, find themselves in a situation where the woman who once treated them as an afterthought suddenly comes back. It starts subtly. She likes an old picture, leaves a comment on social media, or sends a casual "hope you're doing well" text. But the real question isn't why she's reaching out. The real question is, should you even care? The man who gave too much. There was a man who believed that the key to winning love was to give, to always be available, always be understanding, always put her first. Whenever she cancelled plans, he said, "It's okay, I understand." Whenever she ignored his texts, he thought, "Maybe she's just busy." Whenever she flirted with other guys, he told himself, "She'll come around eventually." His entire sense of happiness revolved around her approval. One evening, he planned a special dinner. He cooked her favorite meal, set up candles, and was excited to spend time with her. But an hour before she was supposed to arrive, she sent a text. "Hey, something came up. Let's do this another time." At first, he shrugged it off. She must be busy, but then he checked social media and saw a picture of her out with friends, laughing, completely carefree. It hit him like a punch to the gut. She wasn't too busy, she just didn't prioritize him. The power of walking away. That night, as he sat alone at the table, something inside him changed. He realized he had been giving his best to someone who didn't appreciate it. Instead of getting angry or sending her a long message, he simply made a quiet decision. He was done chasing. But he didn't just walk away, he walked towards something better. He hit the gym and transformed his body. He invested in his career and started making more money. He built a new social circle filled with people who actually valued him. He traveled to new places, gained new experiences, and most importantly, he found happiness within himself. At first, she didn't notice. She was used to him always being there, always waiting, always willing to forgive. But one day, she checked her phone and saw nothing. No good morning text, no check-ins, no messages asking to see her. At first, she brushed it off. He'll be back. But then she saw something unexpected. He had posted a picture, smiling, confident, surrounded by new people. There was a new energy about him, a confidence she hadn't seen before. And that's when it hit her. She had lost him. Why? She feels the pain. Now, women don't regret losing men who beg for their attention. They regret losing men who move on and become better without them. She started messaging him again, testing the waters. "Hey, I was just thinking about you. I miss our late-night talks. We should catch up sometime." But he was no longer the same man. For the first time in their relationship, he was the one with the power. How to handle it like a high-value man. If you ever find yourself in this situation, remember this rule. Never go back to someone who didn't value you the first time. A woman who truly sees your worth won't need to lose you to appreciate you. A high-value man doesn't entertain half-hearted efforts. He doesn't let people back into his life simply because they feel lonely. He protects his peace. But let's say you're tempted. Let's say she seems genuinely sorry. What then? Here's how to handle it, like a man who knows his worth. Observe, don't react. Words are easy, but real change is shown through consistent actions. If she truly regrets losing you, she will prove it over time, not just through a late-night text. Set clear boundaries. If she wants a second chance, she has to earn it. That means no more last-minute cancellations, no more breadcrumbs, and no more games. Ask yourself, would my past self be proud of me for going back? If the answer is no, you already know what to do, because at the end of the day, you are no longer the man who once accepted being treated like an option. And that is your greatest strength. building yourself into a man who will never be an option. Again, the ultimate form of self-respect is becoming a man who never has to ask, "Does she like me?" again. This isn't about playing games or manipulating women. It's about building yourself into a man of such high value that the question becomes irrelevant. When you truly develop yourself, women naturally respect and desire you. Not because you're chasing them, but because you command respect by the way you live your life. What truly attracts women? Forget the pickup lines, forget the tricks. Women are drawn to men who embody these three key qualities. Purpose. A man who is on a mission in life is far more attractive than a man who makes a woman his mission. When your energy is focused on building something greater than yourself, people, including women, are drawn to you. Confidence. This isn't arrogance. True confidence comes from knowing who you are and what you bring to the table. It's in the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, and the way you handle challenges. Emotional control. A man who is unshaken by external circumstances is a man who commands respect. When you are centered, calm, and composed, especially under pressure, you become the type of man people look up to. The power of self-improvement. Want to make sure you never get treated like an option again? Focus on growth in these key areas. Physical strength. It's not just about aesthetics, it's about discipline. When you push your limits in the gym, you build mental resilience. A strong body leads to a strong mind. Financial stability. Money isn't everything, but financial independence gives you freedom. When you control your finances, you control your life. No man who is truly independent ever has to beg for anyone's approval. Mental strength. Learn to control your emotions instead of letting them control you. If a woman pulls away, if life throws challenges at you, you remain unmoved. This is the kind of strength that makes you unforgettable. The story of Scipio, Africanus, the man who refused to be an option. History has shown us that true power lies in self-mastery. One of the greatest examples of this is Scipio Africanus, the Roman general who refused to be underestimated, both in war and in life. During the Second Punic War, Rome was on the brink of collapse. Hannibal, the Carthaginian general, was destroying Roman armies one by one. While many Roman commanders feared defeat, Scipio did something different. He adapted, he trained, and he became stronger. Instead of waiting for Rome's approval, he took action. He studied Hannibal's tactics, built a disciplined army, and led an audacious campaign against Carthage itself. He didn't wait to be chosen. He made himself the obvious choice, and when he finally faced Hannibal in battle, he won, not because he played it safe, but because he had transformed himself into the kind of leader who could not be ignored. The lesson? Never wait for someone to recognize your worth. Build yourself into a man so undeniable that they have no choice but to see it. Women, just like the world, gravitate toward strength. Not just physical strength, but the kind that comes from knowing who you are, what you stand for, and where you're going. You are not an option. You are the prize. If you found this valuable, make sure to like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. I want to hear your thoughts. Have you ever walked away from someone who took you for granted? Did they try to come back? How did you handle it? Your story could inspire another man who needs to hear this today. Let's talk about it in the comments.